Hi. Hi everyone. I have tried to make this short video on how to write a good answer in your C examinations. So this is basically a video I've tried to give my honest personal experience on how I learned to write an answer. And that gave me really good results, right? So I was able to get around 90 plus marks in my second attempt basis these few tricks, few tips that worked for me. So I just wanted to share that. It's an honest personal experience. Like, I cannot claim anything, but this has really helped me as well as a lot of my friends that have cleared those examinations. So this entire video, this manual can also be relevant for any other exam, be it CS, CMA, or ICW. So I've just tried to give a few tips and tricks on how to write a good answer in your C examinations. So let me tell you something about myself, right? So my name is Arjit Sethi. I am a chartered accountant, and I'm currently working as a business finance manager in one of the biggest Indian IT companies, right? And coming to the main part that most of us are here for, like you have clicked on this video, there is an improvement that I saw. This is what I'll tell you in the upcoming video. Like how to get this improvement, how to improve your chances of getting better score. What is ICAI actually expecting from you when it is asking you a question in majorly in the theoretical subjects? Like we all happen to have challenges in audit or law, be it accounts theoretical questions, be it economic laws. What is ICAI actually expecting out of you? How to read a question, how to go about breaking each and every part of that question, and how to write it down, how to present it, right? So this is an improvement analysis, and actually I was very like surprised when I made this table. So I got around 41.21% improvement. That is my improvement percentage attempt on attempt. And in the second table, you can see an analysis of most of my friends that use these tricks and tips. This is how they wrote the answers in the examinations, right? So the improvement was enormous. The improvement has been great push for most of the people. That most of the people we talk to who come to us asking like how to clear these examinations. These are some things that we tell because this has been like a proven method for us. You can see 41% improvement from me. People have even got 50% improvement, right? Some like 27, 18. If I see the average is 20 plus marks improvement. So that is huge. That is huge. For a 800 marks paper, 20% improvement. You can see how huge this improvement is, right? Okay, so let me just dive into the main part. So how I made this thing, like how did I prepare this thing? This is actually based on discussion, my discussion with a lot of people, like 30 plus people I've talked to, all are chartered accountants right now working in different fields. Some are practicing, some are in industry, and they all have cleared examinations and attempts. I have not talked to the people who have cleared it in first attempt because they actually are good at studying, but where the challenge comes is when we don't know where we're going wrong. So this video is basically, even it will help for people who are giving it for the first time, right? Because you know how to go about cracking it in the first time from the learnings that we got by clearing in the second or the third attempt. So this is actually relevant for each level of your C examination or any course, be it foundation, be it intermediate or the final level. This is what ICI wants from you based on our experience. And this is basically about the theoretical questions, how to go about the theoretical questions. The practicals are easy in terms of presentation because you know how the steps are, what a balance sheet is, how to prepare that financial management question, how to solve that forex questions and everything. But how to go about the theoretical question is where we all lack, right? So I'll also talk about the MCQs and others in some next video. So the focus of this video is basically the theoretical questions, right? So this is actually also applicable for irrespective of the attempt. This is not for your May attempt or November attempt. This is actually applicable for each attempt that you're going, unless ICI gives a new format of answering. I'll keep you updated if I read about it. But as of now, this is what I know. And I have also added a bonus segment here, which is like getting extra marks for these that fill the 40. We all want that 40 marks in a particular subject of theory, especially audit or law, right? and the savior 60, the magic figure 60, that is going to give you an exemption. You never have to give that exam again for the next 4 attempts, right? Is what I remember. So getting those extra, those 40 and 60, like how can you get that? If you don't know the answer or you're stuck in a particular examination, how to get that? That is also I've tried to cover in this. So let us just dive into the main thing. Okay, so how to write a good answer. The crux is a good answer. We all know how. We know the answer or we don't know the answer. If we know the answer, how to write a good answer is what I'll try to convey here. Okay, so the main table to remember is two things. Each answer has two things. One is content, second is your presentation. The content should include three aspects. First is answer only what is asked. You do not have to go beyond what is asked. You are not there to show off your knowledge. I know this NDS, I know that particular section, I know this particular section of law. They're not asking you that. They have some specific section or sections or rules in that particular question that they have asked. Focus on that only, because examiner has 10,000s of copies to check. He or she does not have time. Please save their time. The mindset should be to save the examiner's time. So answer only what is asked, right? Second is please cover all context of the question. So a question has different contexts. Be it first is asking about a particular section, eligibility. Is it eligible in the present case? As an auditor, what will you do, right? It has three contexts. So please answer all those three contexts of the question. Try to answer all these contexts instead of just going and concluding that as an auditor, I will report it in this manner. That is not going to fetch you marks, right? Third is authenticate your answer. Authenticating, I mean quote sections, quote your clauses, right? As far as you know, because that will tell you that you actually know your subject. You're not doing a havabazi, you're not doing a fakibazi, right? Just putting your conclusions out there based on the logic of law or what you have studied, right? Authenticate your answer. This shows that you have wisdom. This shows that you are a stable-minded person who's studying to become a well-groomed professional. So authenticate your answers, have those backings. That shows a lot about you to the examiner. And that sets the tone of the entire paper, right? That sets the tone. Your first answer has sections, has all the context covers, you're answering to the point. The examiner feels that the entire question, the entire answer sheet is going to be in that flow, and that gives a wonderful image, and you can score those unfair 4 or 5 marks, and those are deal breakers, right? Getting a 39 and getting a 43 is deal breaker in these examinations. So these can get you those extra unfair marks, right? I'm saying unfair because maybe you don't know the answer, but the way you're presenting it, the way you're conveying your thoughts, that can give you an extra advantage. Coming to the presentation part, one is language, and the second is like forming it into easy aspects, right? Language should be simple as you can, right? Like it should be super easy, it should be super simple. It should be English, grammatically correct as far as you can. It should be in the storyline of the question. Right? A question always has a storyline. So please write that in a storyline. We'll come to this with an example. This is going to be with an example. This is not just a Gyan video. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of what I wrote. I'll tell you how I was scored, right? So second is presentation. It should be neat, it should be concise, and it should save the examiner's time. Divide your answer into paragraphs, divide your answer into bullets, underline, mark, make boxes, whatever you can do. Don't beautify it, but save the examiner's time. Like, this is what I want to tell. This is what is important you should read. This is what is important you should read. Like, underline that for him. With the same pen, with the same everything. Do not use highlighters or pencils or everything. Doesn't work, right? That shows that you're wasting time on presenting that, beautifying it instead of telling what you want. Use the same pen to underline, make bullets, like maybe make a box on the main section, right? It helps, it really helps. So let us move, like I think, and this gives you a brief about what I'm talking about, how to actually put an answer together, right? The content and the presentation, right? Let us come to the main thing. Let us take a sample question. This is from audit, right? So this is what I was talking. I'll give you an example because it becomes easier to understand. Right? So this, you can pause the video and read the question, though I'll read it here. So the question is, as an auditor of a company registered under Section 8 of Companies Act, you find that as per the notification of Ministry of Corporate Affairs, MCA, regarding applicability of Indians accounting standards, the company has to prepare its financial statements for the year ended 31st March under Ind AS, right? The management is, however, of a strong view that being a Section 8 company having charitable objects, Ind AS does not apply, right? So the financial statements are therefore prepared by the management under GAAP, and a note for the same is given in the financial statements. Simple. How do you report this on these financial statements as an audit? Okay, this is a 5-mark question. So the point comes, how do I read this question? I talked about all the context you should cover. There is a storyline in the question, right? There is a storyline. You're an auditor. This is a Section 8 company. It should do this as per the NCA. Management thought we should do this. Management did this. What will you do, right? There's a storyboard in the question. Second thing, I have highlighted the important things that are common. As an auditor, you will report. Both are in red. You have to report as an auditor. There's a storyline. Section 8 company, management says Section 8 company's charitable object. Okay, that is the green highlighting. The pink highlighting is applicability of Ind AS as per MCA to prepare financial statements. Ind AS cannot apply, the company says. How will you report it, right? So this is how you read a question. You find 3 contexts, okay? So here, let us talk about the parts. The first is, what is your part in the question? We are the auditor who have to report this. Simple. Second, bifurcate the question into 2 different sets or acts, right? The first is Companies Act and second is Ind AS, the applicability of Ind AS. And the first thing is talking about how Ind AS are compatible with the Companies Act. You have to talk about that. The third one is what has to be reported and what is the issue, what is the storyboard. So financial statements are prepared by management as per earlier gaps and a note is given, right? We have to report this accurately. The major thing you have to remember is this is a 5-mark question. This should have at least 5 to 6 paragraphs at minimum. 5-mark question, 5 to 6 paragraphs at minimum, right? Divide into paragraphs. This will fill around 1 page of the answer sheet, should fill, right? So let me go to the second part. This is how we read a question. We got the context of it. We found out the different aspects of the question. What is it asking? The applicability of Ind AS to the company, Section 8 company. Is it applicable to Section 8 company? Management did something else. How will we report? Okay, let's go to the second part. First, let us understand how that is how we read a question. Now, this is how we write an answer. So 4 points, I have divided it into 4 points. Like, how do we write this answer? In the same storyline of the question. The major thing I want to focus is always write the answer in the storyline of the question, right? The question first talks about the applicability of Ind AS as per Companies Act. So this is what we also will start our answer with. The applicability of Ind AS as per Companies Act. So we should give precedence of the 2 sections, right? Section 129(1) that governs with the requirements of financial statements and rules under Section 133, which talks about how the central government has notified the Ind AS, which Ind AS are applicable and to which companies those are applicable. We cover 2 sections, 123, 129(1) and 133, right? On basis on applicability. First context of the answer is complete. Second is we're talking about Section 8 company compliance. Okay, so this paragraph is going to be a conclusive paragraph based on our readings of Section 129 and 133, right? So this is a conclusive paragraph based on the above 2 sections. My next paragraph will be, is management's action tenable, right? Has management done the right thing? So we can do so. Can we do so as per the above section? This is what we have to answer. So here we shall use the trick of writing this same language of the question. So what I have always done is I pick up the same wordings of the question, I put it in the answer, and then I write it is tenable or it is not tenable. It gives me some space to write. It fills my sheet. It makes it more authentic that I have read the question. It makes examiner feel that yes, I am understanding what is asked. I'm just not giving yes, it is tenable. No, this is not tenable. Precedence of the question, then we're giving precedence of sections, then we're giving the conclusive paragraph. Then we're writing, is it tenable? What the management did. with the same language of the question so that everything is covered, right? And the final one is how will you report? So what my understanding has always been, always give a balanced view. You're not the judge there. We are not actually the judge writing an answer. We are someone who is understanding the law and giving our perspective. We are giving a point of view, right? So always write a balanced view. Be wise in writing your answers. Like write your answers like a humble or a wise person. Always have that mindset while writing an answer that you are humble, you're wise. You're not there to put a stand. You're not there to jail someone. You're not there to give a judgment, right? Write your answers like a humble person. So we understood about how to read a question. Then I came to how we write an answer. So this is a handwritten answer as I would write. You can pause the video and read it. What I've done is the previous slide is actually based on this. I wrote this answer after reading that question, and then I found out how am I writing this? What are the aspects I covered, right? So if you see, I start with applicability of Ind AS. I give section 129.1. I give section 133. I give bullets. I'm giving bullets. I'm giving sub bullets. I'm underlining. I'm underlining saving his time, the examiner's time. I'm talking about section 130 separately. Then I'm talking about section 8 companies. Then I'm writing in the present case. I'm giving a conclusion, underlining this is not tenable. If you see, I've used the same language of the question. That management contended that it being a section 8 company with the charitable object, Ind AS does not apply to it. The same language of the question, right? Even the storyboard is same. Applicability, section 133, section 8 company, management's case, final point, final bullet is as an auditor, we must advise the management. Right? It's a balanced view. I'm not going to report it. I'm not going to put them in jail. I'm not going to put a bar on that, or I'm not going to give a report at all. Right? These are judgments. What we have to give is a balanced view in the answer. So I have written as we must advise the management to prepare financial statements as per the Ind AS, else we report the same accordingly. A balanced open view in the answer, right? As a wise person, I would advise them. If they do it, good. If they won't do it, I'll report it accordingly. Simple answer, right? This is a 5-mark question. I've given in 6 bullets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you see the 5th one is quite long, we could have also made it into another bullet. Underline important things, your conclusions, sections, make a star mark, right? Start your answer on the heading with an answer. This is something that I have used and I have fairly benefited. So this is just a personal experience I'm sharing. Might be useful to many, might not come in handy to others who have better like writing skills than me. Could be a case. Okay, let me go to the second, like the other thing. So I'm just trying to convey again that how I prepared this answer, right? First is I only wrote what is asked, right? Nothing more than what is asked I have written in the question, in the answer. Second is I authenticated my answer through sections, clauses, right? 2 sections, 129, 133, section 8, conclusion. Simple, 5 marks. Then conclude wisely. We are not giving verdicts. We are here to present our view, right? Then we have language. It is very easy, simple language. If you don't know how to write good language, pick up sentences from the question. Pick up those English words, English sentences from the question itself. Write your own English as a conclusion or as an extra line. Helps, really helps. Okay, the presentation part was I was saving the examiner's time, underlining, giving bullets, go to this, now go to this. 129 covered. He look at the answer, he'll say point number 1, 129 covered, 133 covered, section 8 covered, not tenable, okay. Then auditor will advise and will not tell them present, okay. He's looking at all the points are covered. Out of 5, I'll easily get 4. Like, won't get 5 anyway. No one's getting 5 out of 5 in theoretical. That let's be practical. But I assume I'll get 4, 3.5, 4 easily, which is amazing. Right? Which is like 80% marks for this question, and 80% in getting in CA is not easy, right? So now let me show you what ICAI suggested. Okay, let us discuss what ICAI wanted from us. So the ICAI's expected answer was on the same lines. It started with applicability of Ind AS section 129, the 2 provisions of section 129. and talking about 133 in the middle on how to comply with the notified accounting standards, right? You can pause the video, read it. Now I'm also talking about the checklist. How I wrote, I'm checking, is it matching with what I had in mind? So first is they're starting with the applicability. They're using headings. They're bolding here, you can underline, right? This is a PDF, so they can bold here, but in the answer sheet, you can underline. I have underlined it with red here for you to understand where you can underline, like true and fair view, comply with notified accounting standards, the provisions of 129. You can underline these. They're using bullets. You see, they're dividing into paragraphs. They're using bullets the same way I told you. This is how ICI is writing their answers. They're quoting sections, making bullets, different paragraphs, the same flow of the question, starting from applicability, next to 133, in the next slide, then they're going further to 133. They're making bullets, different paragraphs talking about section 8. Then in the given case, then they're using words like in the given case, therefore, it is not tenable, therefore, it may be noted. I've marked those in purple, right? Those are good words to write a wise answer. Like you have to use these words. Please use these words. They actually work. Further, it may be noted, therefore, in the given case, however, right? Every paragraph starts with something wise, an open-ended, balanced view. This is showing that you're open to interpretation, you're open to learning, right? However, the auditor is required to ensure the applicability monetary limits. Okay, I missed it, but I don't think so that's going to be really affecting the part of the question. So in this case, the non-compliance auditor should report accordingly. See, same wordings. This is what I'm telling you. The more you read about the answers, you'll get to know what ICI is actually expecting. Right? They're using sections, they're quoting sections, they're underlining, they're putting it into paragraphs, easy presentation, only talking about what is asked. They're not going into different sections of India, not telling you which all Indias are applicable. Some people might start writing under section 129 and 130, the rules of 133. These 10 Indias, these 20 Indias are applicable. These are the companies which are not allowed. These are the companies which are allowed. They're not asking you at all. It's a 5-mark question. You save your time. Go to the point, write the answer, move to the next question. 3 hours, huge paper, right? That is what I'm talking about. Don't go blabbering what you know. Just tell them what they want to know. How will you report? Is it tenable? No, this is not tenable. I will report according. I'll ask them if you can report that, else I'll report accordingly, right? Not going into explaining 129, not going to explain 133 in detail. Right? Save your time, save examiner's time, get those 4 marks, get out of the question, move to next, right? This is one strategy I learned from a failure, right? So that is what I'm sharing here. This is something I learned after failing. After I used to write huge answers. I used to write 3-4 pages. I did not have time to complete 5 questions. I used to go with 4. I flunked, right? Then I started reading answers, but ICI is actually giving those suggested answers. This is a pattern. This is a sure shot pattern that ICI is following. And this has given me like 41% improvement. Like I showed, 41% improvement. It's huge, right? Okay. So we talked about how to read a question, how to write an answer. That was in brief. You can read a lot of questions. You can read a lot of answers. I can help you with it. But this was just a sample how to go about it, how to understand what is there in the PDF, right? So some tested tricks for scoring those 1 or 2 extra marks that I learned. Number one, the foremost important trick is your answer number 1 should be the best answer, should be in the same format. I'm telling you, if you write your first answer in the same format, you're sure shot getting those 5-6 extra marks of grace, because the examiner will read your first answer and he'll know what kind of a student you are. Are you prepared or not, right? So your answer number 1 has to be the best answer. Give it the best you got. Take half an hour to write this answer. Like think wisely, put it down on paper in the same format what ICI is wanting, and you fairly do good well. I can assure that, right? Some other tricks is, first is copy the storyboard of the question in framing your answer. That is what I told. If you're poor at framing sentences, use the language of the question. Copy that sentence, put it in the answer, then give your answer. Second is try not to conclude if you don't know the answer. You don't know it is tenable. You cannot conclude. You know the section, but you don't know what to answer. Is it tenable? Is it not tenable? Give an open-ended, right? because if you conclude wrongly, you will get a 0 straight forward. If that answer even was a beautiful answer, if I wrote that this is tenable, I'm going to get a 0. However, what is the storyboard? What is the presentation? They don't care, right? If my conclusion is wrong, I'm getting a 0, which is fair, right? So if you don't know the answer, try not conclude. Leave it in the open end. Just give what you know. Don't write a conclusion. You might get 1 or 2 marks. That is what this is something we're trying to get from the examiner, right? If you don't know, we know we might get a 0. But if we know the section or we know the provisions, write it there. Don't conclude. That is what I can say. Third is underline. Underline, underline, underline. Underline the section, underline the important conclusion, underline what you think is important. It saves 20, like 20 times the time the examiner is going to read your answer. It is going to save him enormous time and he'll be happy. He'll be happy that his time is saved and he's put that to the next answer, right? Because he's also having a hectic day. He's checking so many answers. Save his time, please. Right? Okay, the fourth one is do not stretch the answer. To the point, what is asked, answer, get out of the question. Please don't drag. Examiners hate it. Examiner, if has to read 3 pages of a 5-mark question, he is going to give you a 0. I'm telling you, he might get irritated and you cannot go and ask him why my answer was wrong. So please don't drag your questions or answers. So the fifth one is try not to leave sheets blank. This is a super trick. I'll tell you, this is a super trick. So what we do is answer 1, answer 2, answer 3, we don't know. We leave 2 sheets blank. Chalo answer 4, then we do answer 5. Now, when we come back, we might not have time or we might not even know an answer, which is for two answer sheets, right? Aadhe page ka answer we know. Now this Aadha page you fill and this 1.5 page is blank. It is going to give the worst impression to the examiner, right? So keep those questions you are not confident about for the end, so that your sheet is empty in the end, which is fair. Do not leave space in the middle of the sheets, right? I have seen this. A lot of people have done this and they have not got good marks. This is my analysis, right? And I think it is fair to be when an examiner thinks that someone has not planned the answer sheet well, right? If someone has not planned the answer sheet well, means they're leaving answers, they don't know the answer, right? It is very clear on the face of it, I don't know the answer. That is, I'm not filling it or I'm leaving it blank. Don't give that impression, right? Be smart. Leave it for the end. Play smart. Simple, right? These are a few tricks that I think could help you. Okay, so this was basically something that I discussed on how to write a good answer for theoretical questions in C examinations or other examinations. And I think this might help you. This might come in handy. This is a short video. I think this will be a short video. So you can go about it. You can read a lot of samples. I'll put a PDF down here. I'll put a PDF in the description, which has your taxation answers explained, which have your law answers explained. Might help you. Like I've underlined, highlighted how to read a question, how to write an answer. I've done that in that PDF. Go check out that PDF, download it, read it, share it with people. It might help. Right now, next things I'm planning to put in up next videos is how to study for MCQs, the new thing that ICAI have introduced. Case scenarios, huge thing coming up. It's wonderful. I've read a lot of case scenarios and they're very easy. I can assure you you're getting 100% marks in that. So it is very easy, but I'll tell you how to read that, how to get answers from the case study itself. They are very obvious. I'll do that in next videos. Then we'll do how to solve pointer questions. In audit, in law, we have like the provisions of this. How will you audit a restaurant? How will you audit a saloon? Right? How will you audit a hospital? So you have pointer questions, how we solve that. And then we have the practical questions. Is step marking, how to get marks in that step marking? What are those tricks and tips for that step marking? I'll put that up in next videos. That is what I've planned. Right, so let's see. So, okay. So as I said, please do read the sample questions and the answers in the PDF in the description. I have given law and international tax specifically, like huge subjects where people lose marks. And you will observe that the format that I just discussed is actually followed in every subject. It is observed in each and every subject of ICAI, the same format, the same process. And this is wonderful. This is a wonderful thing for us if we can learn, right? So with that, best of luck. do well in your examination, be it any attempt. I'm telling you, this is valid for any attempt, be it next attempt, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, any attempt, this is going to be relevant. And if you have any questions or discussions, please shoot me a mail. This is my mail ID. And please go follow me on LinkedIn. We can have a discussion there. We can get into a discussion, converse there. Right? I'll be happy to help you. Right. So with that, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you do well in your examinations. Make yourself and your parents proud. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.